Good morning everyone. Let's start today's topic, and today's topic is polymorphism. Right, till now we have seen the concepts up to inheritance. Okay, so we will start topic for today's, and that is polymorphism. As you know, we have discussed about the principles of object oriented programming, and there we have seen the concept of polymorphism. Polymorphism means if we use one thing in more than one form. Okay, poly मतलब होता है many, and morph मतलब form. So if one thing is available in more than one form, it's known as polymorphism. So let's see how Java is implementing this polymorphism. Java is implementing this polymorphism into two ways. Okay, first one is compile time polymorphism, and second one is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is also known as static polymorphism, or it is also known as static binding. Runtime polymorphism is known as dynamic polymorphism or dynamic binding. Means if somebody asks you what is static polymorphism, you say it is compile time polymorphism, and if somebody says dynamic polymorphism, you will say it is runtime polymorphism. Okay, so compile time polymorphism means the concept is implemented with the help of overloading. Okay, we'll see what is compile time polymorphism when we discuss overloading, and in runtime polymorphism it is implemented with help of overriding. Overriding we have seen in the inheritance concept. We'll just go through that at the end of this video, where you will see that we have already implemented overriding. Okay, so overloading and overriding. Overloading is implemented in Java with help of method overloading, right? Method overloading means we try to overload the method. Okay, so when an overloaded method is called, Java uses the type or number of arguments to decide which version of the overloaded method is actually called. Okay, means एक क्लास के अंदर एक ही नाम से एक से ज़्यादा मेथड होते हैं. फिर से सुनिए, एक क्लास के अंदर एक नाम से एक से ज़्यादा मेथड होते हैं. एक क्लास के अंदर एक ही नाम के एक से ज़्यादा मेथड्स हो सकते हैं, पर उनके सिग्नेचर यानी उसके अंदर जो पैरामीटर होंगे वो अलग अलग होंगे. तभी हम कहेंगे कि हमारा मेथड ओवरलोड हुआ है. Okay, means if we are trying to overload the method, so method name will be same, but the parameters inside the method will be different. And how that can be different? By changing the number of arguments, by changing the number of arguments, or by changing the data type. Means two methods in the same class with the same name, but number of parameters should be different. Condition 1. Now if number of parameters or number of arguments are same, then their data type must be changed. Okay, there are two conditions for method overloading. First one is the number of parameters should be different, and second, if the number of parameters are same, then their data type must be different. Okay, let's see with an example. We'll get to know with this example. Example is method overload. Okay, if you go through this, we have created a class multi here, and you see here is one method multiply, and again the same method in the class with same name. You can see multiply is here also and multiply is here also. Here both names are same. You can see in this class there is a class multi. Inside this multi class there are two methods with same name, but their parameter is different. Here two integers are passed as parameter, and here three integers are passed as parameter. So if first condition, the number of parameter must be different. So here overloading is allowed because the method name is same, but the parameters are different. Now if you write like this, you see here also three parameters and here also three parameters. Okay, So if the parameters are same for both the method, it will say duplicate method, right? Means either the number of parameters should be different, or if the number of parameters are same, then their data type must be different. You see, you changed the data type, here the number of parameters are same, here the number of parameters are same, but their data type is different. Here 2 integer, 3 integer, here 2 integer and 1 double. So we have changed the data type and we got to know that the two conditions are existing and this is allowed. Okay, so here a multiply method is there in which 2 parameters are passed, which is returning product of these two numbers, and the same method multiply overloaded with 3 parameters and it is returning the product of these 3 numbers. Okay, clear? Now if number of parameters are same, then their data type must be different. Otherwise, if as far as the data type number of parameters are different, method overloading is allowed. Now what we need to do, we know what we have to do. We will create the object of multi-class multi m1 equal to new multi, and then in println we call m1 dot multiply. So m1 dot multiply 5 into 6, m1 dot multiply 5 into 6 into 7. So 5 into 6 and 5 into 6 into 7. Okay, so once you call this version of method will be called. The compiler will go to this multiply and will try to match, that 2 parameters are matched, then this will be called and the output of these function will be generated. And if you call this, it will go to this method and the output of this method will be displayed. Okay, so now you see that this method overloading is there. Okay, another example, you have created class adder, here int add, int int, and here int a, int b, int c. Okay, so here you will get to know that again there are 2 parameters and in the second method there are 3 parameters, so number of parameters are different, so it is allowed. Come to this method overloading. See here, once we write like this, so what happens, you see it is generating error because the matching of overloaded methods are done at the compile time. अभी प्रोग्राम हमने रन नहीं किया लेकिन कंपाइल टाइम पे ही ये हमें आइडेंटिफाई हो जा रहा है, यानी इसीलिए इसको बोलते हैं कंपाइल टाइम पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म. मींस when you try to overload the method, the signature of the methods are checked at compile time itself. Before execution of the program, the checking is done for overloading. That is why it is known as compile time polymorphism. Okay, because the matching of the overloaded methods are done at the runtime. Okay, now if you find this, just we remove this third parameter and we have found that it is okay. So matching is done at the time of compilation with the methods, that is why it is known as compile time polymorphism. Okay, so this is by changing the number of argument or by changing the data type. Now we come to the point method overriding. Method overriding, we know the concept of inheritance. Okay, so we have discussed about this inheritance in the last lecture, so we'll just go through the example. Just to remind you, method overriding is the scenario where the same methods are there in the base class as well as in the derived class. Okay, so method overriding occurs in case of inheritance where the same methods are there in the base class as well as in the derived class. So derived class can change the definition of the method in the base class according to its own requirement. Okay, so this is method overriding. Method overriding की condition यहाँ नीचे है, देखें. The method must have the same name as in the parent class and the method must have the same parameter as in the parent class. अब यहाँ ध्यान देने वाली बात है, मेथड ओवरलोडिंग में पैरामीटर अलग अलग होते हैं और मेथड ओवरराइडिंग में पैरामीटर सेम होगा. मेथड ओवरलोडिंग सेम क्लास में होती है, मेथड ओवरराइडिंग इनहेरिटेंस के केस में होगी। मेथड ओवरलोडिंग में एक ही क्लास के अंदर एक से ज़्यादा मेथड होंगे जिनका नाम सेम होगा, बट उनके अंदर जो पैरामीटर्स हैं दोज विल बी डिफरेंट, ओके। एंड इन केस ऑफ मेथड ओवरराइडिंग यू हैव टू clear it that in method overriding the same method will be there in the base class as well as in the derived class, and their parameter will also be same, okay. If the base has 2 parameters of integer, derived version will also have 2 parameters as integer. Let's see an example. We go to this child override method. You can see here parent method is there and parent method has the show method. Here we are printing parent show, and in the child which extends the parent it has also got show method. So show method and their parameters are also same. Here is no parameter and here also no parameter, so signature of the method is same in both base class as well as derived class. And once you create the object of parent class and you will call the show method from the parent class object, it will execute its own method. And once you create child class and child class method is called, so it will call its own version, okay. Base will call this own version, derived will call its own version. If you see here you find parent show and child show, okay. So this is example of method overriding. Method overriding means if there are methods in the base class as well as in the derived class with same name and same parameter, so it is called method overriding. The derived class can change the definition of the method in the base class according to its own requirement, okay. So this is the concept of method overriding. Let's see one example of method overloading. Somebody asks you, can we have multiple main in Java, okay. Can we have multiple main in Java? So you can say yes, multiple main is possible. Multiple main is possible because you can change the parameters in the main. You can see in this program here is 1 main, here is 2 main and here is 3 main, okay. It has got one parameter string args, it has got one parameter string args but not array, single string, and here public static environment without any parameter. So we have overloaded the main method, means there will be only one method with string args, that is the entry point of the program. Otherwise you can create main with different signatures. So you can have multiple main in Java. बस ध्यान ये रखना है कि you see main with string, you have called this, okay. So we can have multiple main in Java. You can see with this example that we can have multiple main in Java, but this string args will be only one, and that will be because see once you run this program, this is the output, because the entry point of this program is this only, okay. So you can say we can have multiple main in Java, but only one main with string args will be there, okay. So this was all about polymorphism. Method of polymorphism is implemented in 2 ways. Which are the 2 ways? It is compile time and runtime. Example of compile time is overloading, and example of runtime is overriding. Overloading means method overloading, overriding means method overriding. Overloading occurs in the same class, more than one method with different parameters. Overriding in multiple class in case of inheritance, in which parent and child both classes have the same method with same parameter, okay. So we'll very soon we'll meet in the next lecture. We'll learn the more concepts of Java. Till then, goodbye and take care.